Hey there folks, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here for another fun video. So my friend contacted me yesterday and he told me a couple ideas for getting this channel better equipped for future videos, and he told me I should probably put my name in my videos because I've only ever talked about myself in my first initial introduction video, so some people might be watching this and not know who I am. And I guess I just didn't think about it. I thought, oh, they've seen the first video, it's fine. So I'm Katie, and this is the Haunted Lighthouse Historian. So I'm really glad that you've made your way to my channel. However you got here, I really appreciate you in more ways than I can possibly say. So very grateful that you are here. And today is Vlogtober day number 8. So it's October 8, 2020 in my world. And we are going off of a prompt from yesterday's video. And the prompt was haunted hotels and motels and inns. So I wanted to hear about movies that contain either a spooky hotel, motel, or like a bed and breakfast or an inn. So we will be getting to my movie recommendations here in just a couple minutes, and I think I have 3 today. Yeah, 3. Well, one has some sequels, so like 5. But I'm not really gonna go into too much detail about the sequels, but we'll get to that shortly. So we, of course, always start with a song of the day, and today's song is called Heads Will Roll, and it's by the band the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. So they were very, very prominent in the early 2000s. Like, I think maybe late 90s they emerged, but I don't think so. I think it was 2000s. I'm gonna have to double check that, and I'll put a little something here because I remember them when I was in college. So probably just early 2000s. But they had a very, very, well, song that I loved a whole lot called Maps, and I think that their whole repertoire is very, very good. And this song is not necessarily a Halloween song, but it has elements of that. It's very Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland's-esque, but it also can be taken from like a Sleepy Hollow and, you know, the Headless Horseman aspect. So I absolutely love this song. I include it on all my Halloween playlists, and I hope that you enjoy it. So if you've not heard it, I'm going to play you a little bit of it right now. And Karen O has like such an incredible voice in general. I do not explain her. She's an enigma, to be sure. So if you've not looked into the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, I definitely recommend you check them out. Their album is available on Spotify. Again, I'm not too sure what Apple Music has because I don't have iTunes, you know. I always call it iTunes. I know it's not iTunes anymore. I don't have like an iPhone, so I'm not sure what their catalog exactly looks like, but I'm fairly certain that if it's on Spotify, it's probably on Apple Music. So check them out. Again, this song is called Heads Will Roll, and the band is called the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. So let us move into my book recommendation for today. So today's is another nonfiction great, and this one is called The Witch's Book of Self-Care, and it's this lovely book right here. And I picked this one up, I think, last year, right when I was getting started with my witch discovery, and so this is a really important book for me just because I have been very stressed out and anxiety ridden over the last couple years, much to do with the current political state of things, much to do with I had some medical issues. My animals had medical issues last year. I got married last year, so it was a culmination of a whole lot of things jam-packed in a very short amount of time. So my anxiety has been top tier on the stress level for, you know, the last at least 18 months. And I've suffered from anxiety for the last 2 decades, but it's been very bad the last couple years. So this book helps very much with that because they have a whole portion that kind of deals with mental health and channeling your anxiety for good and finding the things that cause the anxiety and the stresses in your life, kind of pinpointing those and working to relieve those in the witch way. So if you are interested in learning about witchcraft in general, this is a nice book to read as well. It doesn't really give you a whole lot of the history of witchcraft, but it does kind of go into ways that you can holistically take care of yourself. That's not, you know, going to the doctors and medicating yourself. So I am wholeheartedly a proponent of taking care of yourself in any possible way that you can, whether it be medication or just being mindful or, you know, herbal remedies, whatever it is that works for you, you know, but try them out. I know a lot of people they think that stuff is, I don't know, if it's not scientifically proven, then forget about it. And there are a lot of scientific studies that show that, you know, herbal medicines do help. So it may not be for everybody, but I think it's important to kind of, if you suffer from anxiety, and I don't really want to get a whole lot into this because I don't want to be a downer, but it's kind of all consuming, you know, when you are in the throes of an anxiety / panic attack, it can be completely overwhelming and you feel like you're dying no matter how ludicrous it feels. You know, you know that you're not, but something is also telling you that something is wrong, and it's just a conflicting, it just feels like a war going on in your head because your total complete sanity tells you that everything is fine, but something else deep down is telling you something is not. So that clashing feeling is very overwhelming, and God love my husband for putting up with me through all of these attacks that I've had, especially right before the wedding last year. I kept telling him, if you want to back out now, you've got an out. You do, because I'm a loony bin. So I think it's important to take care of yourself, to be mindful of yourself, what your body is telling you. So this is an absolutely beautiful book, just so you can kind of just keep yourself in check and make sure that you are doing everything that you need to not only live, but to thrive. So they talk about, you know, like I said, things for your personal mental state. They talk about, you know, just to try and be a healthier person in general, that kind of self-care. They're also talking about your home self-care. So, you know, cleansing it or looking at the clutter in your life, which I get. But looking at that and trying to find a feasible way to work through the clutter and come to a more peaceful mindset for your home and for everyone else that comes into your home. So I don't know. I don't have enough good things to say about this book. So if you are looking for a nice quick read, I would definitely check out The Witch's Book of Self-Care. And this is by Erin Murphy Hiscock. So definitely check this out. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Barnes & Noble, anywhere books are sold. You should be able to find it pretty easily. So let us move on to my movie recommendations. So my first recommendation for the day is actually a kids movie. And this one is, of course, Hotel Transylvania, because it's got hotel, of course, right, even in the name of the movie. But the series for Hotel Transylvania, there are currently 3 movies out, and they are absolutely delightful. So they are an Adam Sandler creation. Adam Sandler, Selena Gomez, the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Andy Samberg, and a host of other people, Kevin James, and a lot of people that are kind of in Adam Sandler's whole family. I mean, he kind of incorporates these people into practically everything he puts out. On an aside, let's just quickly talk about that new show on Netflix, Hubie Halloween, that came out yesterday. I watched it, and I'm typically a big fan of Adam Sandler's work. I think he's funny. You know, I grew up with Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and The Wedding Singer and really love those films. But I was kind of disappointed in this because I was very excited about a movie set in Salem, shot in Salem and Marblehead area. So the scenery was beautiful. The story I was not so much a fan of. I did not like the way the movie portrayed Salemites to be assholes, basically. I mean, he treated it like this character gets picked on by absolutely everybody and their brother in this town. And Salem, I've been there twice. I don't live there, obviously, but I have visited. And for the stigma of Massachusetts people being fairly awful, I didn't have that experience when I was in Salem. Salem is a loving and a welcoming community for anybody who believes whatever it is that they believe. You know, they don't have a stigma, you know, like the puritanical upbringings that it had. I think that the people are much more loving and accepting, and I just thought that was crappy that they would portray Salem to be this group of nasty people, you know, that's putting this character down. But I don't know. I really was expecting more, wanted more from it. I wanted some more spookier aspects of the film. It really wasn't that scary at all. And I don't know, with a cast that it had, you know, Tim Meadows and Maya Rudolph and Ray Liotta was in it. And I don't know. I just really hoped for better. And it was just kind of meh. So I may rewatch it when I'm missing being in Salem, but I'll probably fast forward through the dialogue and just look for the scenery, because I couldn't do it. It just, it's really disappointing. So I don't, you know, want to keep you from watching it. I think that if you enjoy Adam Sandler, you enjoy Halloween, you definitely should check it out. And maybe my experience is not the same as yours, so please don't let my, you know, my opinion influence yours. But I personally was just a little disappointed that, you know, Salem townsfolk were portrayed the way that they were, because, like I said, in my experience, they've been nothing but absolutely lovely. And yeah, so I can't wait to go back to Salem. I was hoping to go back this year because I really wanted to get, you know, get to October in Salem again. But of course, COVID had other ideas. I do really want to get back there, though, within the next 6 months, because until April, Salem actually has a exhibit going on at the Peabody Essex Museum that is actual artifacts from the Salem witch trial era. And I guess it hasn't been on displays for 30 years. So J.W. Oker actually was talking about that on one of his posts, and I would absolutely love to see that in person. So I'm going to be very pushing towards trying to get something like that set up for maybe late this year, early next year, but definitely before April, so I can check out the exhibit. I've only ever been to Salem in October, so I'm not entirely sure what it's like in you know, March or April, but I'm sure it's amazing no matter when you're there. So that's on my list of things to go to. And so now that we've completely fallen off the topic of this movie section, we'll rewind a little bit and we'll come back to Hotel Transylvania. But this movie is not a letdown in my opinion of Adam Sandler. I think it is funny. I think it's very, very lighthearted. It doesn't take itself seriously. And I love the characters that he has playing the monsters. Like I said, Kevin James is in it. He plays the Frankenstein monster. Adam Sandler plays, you know, Dracula, and Selena Gomez plays his daughter. And it's just a really great family film. And like I said, I don't have kids, but I absolutely enjoyed the heck out of this movie. So I recommend Hotel Transylvania and Hotel Transylvania 2 and 3. So the first movie kind of details around Mavis, who is Dracula's daughter, and she's turning like 113 years old or something, and some big number, you know, because she's a vampire, of course, she can't die. And so she meets Andy Samberg's character, who is a human who stumbled onto Hotel Transylvania by accident. And so he, you know, comes to realize that all the monsters are real and meets Dracula and falls in love with Mavis. And so the second movie is kind of their relationship story, and they have a kid. And then the third story is kind of circling back to Dracula. So Dracula's wife passed away and kind of trying to find love for Dracula. So I think that that story arc is really wonderful. There is also on Disney Channel a series for Hotel Transylvania, and that has been running since 2017. They're currently on their second season, and I don't know if it's been picked up for a third yet, but I like that they're keeping the story going. So I don't know if they're going to come out with a fourth movie. I wouldn't mind it. You know, I'm the same way with Despicable Me. If they put out another movie, I'm going to watch them all. It doesn't really matter what the storyline is. I will watch them all. So Hotel Transylvania just has like the perfect mix of funny dialogue and characters that I love so much, you know, with Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman. Oh, Steve Buscemi is the Wolfman. I can't believe I didn't even mention that. But yeah, Steve Buscemi is in this too, and he is just hilarious. So, like I said, I would definitely recommend you pick up and watch Hotel Transylvania. It is going to be shown on, I think, Freeform, and it's probably on Disney Channel and a couple other places this year. So I think it's on FX too. So I don't think you'll have any trouble finding it if you want to watch it. So definitely check out Hotel Transylvania. So second recommendation I'm going to have is an oldie but a goodie, and it is the classic 1960s Psycho, and it's Alfred Hitchcock's absolute masterpiece. I know a lot of people like either really love this movie or they absolutely hate this movie, and that kind of feels strange to me because I think that that movie kind of set in motion a lot of tropes that horror has today, and I think that Alfred Hitchcock did it brilliantly. I mean, Alfred Hitchcock was not a great man, and I'm not going to sing the praises of Alfred Hitchcock in any way, shape, or form, but the man did know how to direct a film, and I really think that this is one of the very best. I mean, he did North by Northwest and Rear Window, which is another one I absolutely love that I recommend highly to check out. But Psycho, oh man, and maybe it's because of Anthony Perkins, probably because of Anthony Perkins, but he is Norman Bates. He personifies that character so beautifully, so articulately, so perfectly. There have been many people that have tried to repeat that success, and I don't know if they've done it as successfully. The Vince Vaughn remake, I think, was horrendous. I would never recommend an enemy to watch that movie, but I do think that you should check out the Bates Motel series that was on A&E. That was a definitely different take, and I think it had what is his name? Freddie Highmore, maybe? Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up too. I'm probably messing that up, but that lead character that plays Norman in that is absolutely incredible. Vera Farmiga plays his mother, so it's kind of the origin story. Before we get to Psycho, it is the build-up to create the Psycho. You know what I mean? So really, really, really enjoy that series. I don't know for sure if it's streaming, but I mean, it's a quick Google check. You can just put in Bates Motel and they should tell you in the search bar if it's streaming anywhere, which is, you know, a nice thing that Google has done for all of us, because how many times have you been like, where can I watch this show? Type it in and then they just tell you right away, and it's wonderful. So but yeah, the original Psycho with Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh is just a perfect mix of suspense and terror. And I always love the story that, you know, Janet Leigh's scene in the bathroom shower where she gets stabbed and the blood is spurting. But that's another great thing about Hitchcock, was he didn't show you violence. It was all shadowed. You know, it was in the background. You never saw anyone get murdered. It was those little tiny, you know, like the blood splatter in the water or on the side of the shower. And I heard that was actually created with Hershey's syrup, like chocolate syrup. So I don't know if that's like an urban legend or if that was real, but they said it was the right consistency and everything. So I guess I can believe that, but I don't know. And since it's black and white, you can't tell one way or another. So very good movie. Definitely recommend you find that. I know that all of the Alfred Hitchcock movies are streaming on that Peacock app right now, but they are a premium access. So you would have to pay for the service in order to watch any of the Hitchcock films in that respect. I don't think that they are streaming anywhere else, but I'm fairly positive you could find a pretty good collection either at Walmart or like on Amazon that would include probably all the favorites, you know, Dial M for Murder and North by Northwest and Psycho and Rear Window and that kind of thing. So definitely check out Psycho. The original, not the Vince Vaughn version. You're welcome. Don't spend any amount of time on that movie. My third one is one of my favorite horror films that have come out in the last 2 decades. And it gets very little play, and it kind of makes me sad because it is just such a good movie, and that is called The Innkeepers. And this movie came out back in 2011. It was directed by Ty West, and it features Sarah Paxton and Pat Healy. I can never remember his name for some reason. And then Kelly McGillis is also in this. So it kind of follows the story of these 2 workers to this hotel that's being shut down. So it's a grand old building that, you know, used to be very famous, and over the years it's decayed and kind of slowed down, and they're closing it. It's, you know, it's out of business. So these 2 characters are the last 2 workers working in the inn for its final nights. And so they're both very big into the paranormal, and they, you know, get to have the run of the inn while there's like nobody there. So they have their EVP equipment and, you know, all of the ghost hunting essentials, and are, you know, walking around the house, walking around the hotel trying to find, you know, a case for ghosts. The male lead, Pat Healy, he is kind of like he has his own website that's based around this hotel and its hauntings. So he's, you know, updating the website while he's working, and they're just, you know, out and about checking things out. So the beginning of the movie, it's a slow build. So I think that that's the main complaint a lot of people have about this movie, is that the first, I don't know, 45 minutes or so of the movie is a pretty slow, you know, just a general hearing a bump, hearing a lights flicker, the piano plays, small little things. But it's very akin to Paranormal Activity. I mean, that was just small little things until it builds and builds and builds into something great at the end. And that's really how this film kind of culminates. So I don't want to give away the ending because it is absolutely insanely good. But I will suffice it to say that there's 2 characters that come and stay at the hotel before it shuts down. One is Kelly McGillis' character, and she was kind of a old actress, and she's kind of retired from that life, and now she's looking to become a psychic medium because she's trying to hone her abilities. And so she's in town and staying at the hotel because they have a convention or something going on. So she finally gets, to talking with the female lead after some resistance, and lets her know that she is, a medium. She senses something wrong in the inn, and she tells her not to go down in the basement because something bad will happen if she goes in the basement. So you've got that kind of thrown in the mix. And then you have a character, an elderly gentleman comes, and he decides to stay at the inn too. He requests the honeymoon suite. He has to stay in the honeymoon suite, which is up on the 3rd floor of the building. But they've already stripped, all the beds and all the furniture and everything from that level because, of course, they're closing down. The man insists, and so they decide to give him just, some sheets and pillow so he can stay in there if he really wants to, but just so he knows, there's no amenities kind of thing. And so those two characters do play pivotal roles, you know, towards the end of it. So I'm not going to give you any more information about this, but suffice it to say, the medium kind of tells them that the ghost of a jilted bride is still at the hotel. And that's kind of what they thought was going on when they were investigating, you know, at the beginning of the film, thinking that there's this ghost there that's, you know, unhappy, and she kind of just wanders around the hotel. And so you find out that that's, per the medium, that's exactly what's going on, is that her ghost is still lumbering around. So how it all shakes out and how those characters kind of come together, especially the elderly gentleman at the end of it, it's very good. It's very good. And it's not a happy ever after kind of film. So don't go into this movie thinking that everything is just going to be hunky-dory, because you will be very disappointed. But if you love kind of it's a bit of a psychological thriller, just because you're not entirely sure, you know, when it comes to paranormal stuff, what's real and what's maybe just getting shown to us to kind of psych us out, you know, that kind of thing. So I definitely recommend The Innkeepers. It's probably my favorite, one of my favorite movies from the 2010s. It's probably in my top 5. So if that has any sway whatsoever on your opinions on whether to watch it or not, but I love it. I love it. I love it. So definitely check that out. And so my television recommendation today is for the show Channel Zero, which is a sci-fi original series that I don't think is running on Sci-Fi anymore. I think that it got switched over to Netflix or Shudder, and they're producing original content for it. I think still. I need to look further into that, I guess, but they have 3 seasons out currently. I have not seen the 3rd. I will be completely honest. I have not had the time to kind of catch up with it yet. But the first 2 seasons, I absolutely adored, because they were so different from any other series that I've seen. And each season is different. Each season has a new cast of characters, a new storyline. So the first season has to do with Candle Cove. And it is this television show from everyone's childhood, and there's some dark stuff that happened around this television series. So like I said, the first one kind of focuses on that storyline. The second season deals with a house that's kind of not what it seems, and every room has a different horror in it. I mean, truly. So you you don't know what to expect in every episode, and I love that about a show. I love being able to go into something and go, new episode tonight, I have no idea what's gonna happen, you know, because sometimes you get so set with a storyline and you can kind of figure out where the characters' brains are gonna go, you know, where they're gonna take the show in general. But this show kept me guessing every single week. I mean, because it's one full story each season, but I don't know. The episodes were so well put together that I just could not figure out what was going to happen in the next episode. So I definitely recommend that you check out Channel Zero, because it is absolutely amazing and definitely worth a spooky view, especially around this time of year. So let's go ahead and move on to the prompt of tomorrow. And that prompt is, funnily enough, gee whiz, it's Unhappily Ever After. So aside from the Innkeepers, which I just talked to you about, saying it's kind of a sad end, but definitely check out, or not check out, I want you to tell me to check out some movies that have not so happy endings. So I will plan on seeing your lovely faces tomorrow. I hope everyone's doing well, that you're healthy. And again, just a great big thank you for being here. And I can't wait to sit and chat with you tomorrow about Unhappily Ever After. See you then.